Hi everyone, so we are live, and today's idea is working, and it's not a coding stream today. So it's one of the first ones which is not a coding stream. I think the first one was when I created the screenshot. This is a different one. So my idea is that RevenueCat did. Before I talk about it, I would just want to tweet about it very quickly. So RevenueCat featured the app Zenther in for using AI to for validating the app idea, and I want to do kind of a reaction video on what they say about my app. I haven't watched the stream at all. I have seen one of the first few lines, and when they mention Zenther and some of the competition that they, and what they think about them. So let's go together on what they think about it. And this is the app link, and I would want to also have the just go to YouTube and just search for my channel, this one, and just see, just put this link here. And I would also want to post the actual video that they posted. So if I want to go to this tweet, and I did one mistake where I actually wanted it one trip or trick for you if you are new to Twitter. It's like when you have when you are posting or want to add somebody, do not directly start from their start with dot at RevenueCat. So if I go back and see this, so if I had to go back to my tweet, I should have used, so it won't be featured on my feed. For some reason it is, but still, this is the idea. I should use dot RevenueCat, and as usual, Twitter is broken. They laid off a lot of people, and it actually shows. So we are here, and then here is the review. So with that out of the thing, we will now go to the video, and I would turn on the subtitles just in case the audio is not audible. So the first thing that they start with is this line, which is something really interesting. Yeah.
Was way shorter. And people had to buy very expensive tickets to see that, and everybody here just gets to see that for free.
You're doing it for free, man.
And what I want you to repeat what you said literally like seconds before we started recording about this talk.
So I am sure, I'm convinced that if people in this call or in this stream simply just do what I tell them here, somebody's going to get very, very rich. And as long as they use RevenueCat, that's enough reward for us.
Okay, so Hendrik, or I don't think he likes to be called Hendrik, he prefers Rick. He mentions that if what we are going to watch together right now and actually implement them, he thinks that somebody, or which is us in this case, will get very, very rich, and there's only one way to find out, which is like implement what he sees. And I really trust Rick, first because he works at RevenueCat, and RevenueCat is growing exponentially, and they are, I think they tweeted out on how many billions that money is money is going through RevenueCat. But even I think 3 years ago, when I was at Code Magic, I was the iOS developer relations there, and at that point Rick was the head of marketing or director of marketing at Bitrise, and I could find Bitrise every single where, and I have seen how they have gone, like Bitrise was kind of the default for CI/CD at that time. I don't know if it's still the same. I haven't been in the industry for a long time, but I could, like, I can understand when he says that he will make somebody very, very rich with his words. He actually implements, and it actually works. So let's see what this is all about.
We're going to take a tiny little bit of that.
I want to like clip that, and then 3 or 4 months from now, put it as a reply to somebody when they're posting their MRR chart or something, showing how they followed these steps, and now they're killing it.
If you're in that call, or if you're watching this, and 3 months from now, you're making like $10,000
3 months.
a month.
Okay. So idea is 3 months, 10,000 MRR, or the 10K MRR chart. I'm okay with 2,000 and 4.4K, because 4.4K, I was doing the numbers and what I think. So right now I am in Bangkok, and I'm heading to Chiang Mai tonight. So I know that 4.4k is a lot of money. I can live off comfortably here in like maximum of 1.5. And when I say comfortably, it's like living in a condo where I have a house. I have my apartment, kind of a whole 1 BHK apartment, and eating out good food, and then also going on hikes, and then going for walks, and kind of enjoying the life that I would want, even train for Muay Thai, all in 1.5k. So 4.4k after taxes. It's very important to know that 4.4k after taxes is a lot of money. So let's see how this works out. Yeah, I have to tag him. Yes.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get started. So we'll start by introducing who we are. So my name's Charlie
Let's
Chapman.
skip a bit on this.
I'm one of the most from a like, well, also as a developer, you started like vibe coding apps too, but you've been using these tools really effectively for sort of marketing and business development use cases very early on, and you've got a million different kind of crazy use cases that you've come up with. And I think one of the things that was kind of crazy about when we first announced this is, and we opened up the Discord, is so many people immediately started asking the question, how do I come up with an idea for an app to build? And I think I immediately thought of you and the stuff that you've been doing. So that's kind of the idea behind this talk.
So I want to interrupt Charlie for a bit. So last year I did the Shipaton, like what they have right now, and I have won it. And if you go and see me, you would see me. Yeah, this is me. So I won the Build in Public award, and how I came up with the idea was, it wasn't a winning idea in terms that I wasn't printing money. I'm still not printing money at all. It's like I made 500 ARR or something, but the idea is that I was in a cafe. I was showing some mesh gradients to my friend on SwiftUI previews, and it was just so slow. I was like, I wish there was an app where I do not have to use SwiftUI previews at all, and I can just change the values, anything on the screen. And that's how I went back home. I gave, at that time it was Claude 3.5 Sonnet. I gave the prompt that I want this app, and here's the documentation for mesh gradients. It one shot at the whole main interface. I'm like, wow, I'm going to now put this app somehow on Gumroad. I put the app on Gumroad. On the first day itself, I got like $100, and people were buying that app. So I validated that idea for a macOS app, and when they announced the Shipaton, they were only accepting iOS apps, so I pivoted to an iOS app. That's one mistake. I would actually call it a mistake, because my whole focus was on winning this hackathon and getting that $1,000. But I knew the main market of the more serious users that I wanted to target were on macOS. Even the Apple folks told me that you should target the macOS market, and I added the macOS support later on. It's not as good, it's not as performant, because I just focused on making the iOS app the like really good. So that's one mistake, and by the end of the Shipaton itself, I was burnt out and didn't want to work on this app anymore. So that's how my idea came out. It wasn't a winning idea. I knew the word meshing or mesh gradients were definitely not ranking on Astro. Like right now itself, I am one for most of the mesh gradient words, but the popularity is just 5. I don't even think it's 5. It's just because Matteo has the creator of Astro, he has 5 as the minimum. Otherwise it should be 1 or something. So that is the idea. And the second is, for this year, the idea was very simple. I wanted to lose weight. I have been stuck on 90 kgs for like 5 or 6 months. I cannot like break this plateau at all. So I wanted to have an app that I can actually log. Like right now I had 2 chicken breasts from 7-Eleven, and I just logged how many, 42 grams of protein. And so that makes me nice that a guy who wasn't even eating that much in a whole day now is at a point who is eating in directly one go, and is not craving sugar or anything. And so I'm working on building my potential. If you know this app Whoop, I don't own a Whoop, but I like the tagline that working on your potential or build your potential or something like that. So that's what I'm doing, and I want this app to be the major reason, so I can be the brand ambassador. Like I went from this overweight guy to being a jacked guy with 6 packs, and then I post on Twitter and I get all the likes, and I'm like, okay, now go and get my app, because this is the app that made it possible. So this is my idea for how I'm coming it this year.
get into the talk itself. I have a couple things I want to go through, sort of our typical Shipaton webinar stuff. So first, ask question. Discord, these that we've seen out there on the web. So Taishi, I met him actually in Japan. He's building an app specifically to help people build apps in public, especially people who are not native English speakers. So it's sort of like it's like a teleprompter. You can kind of see it in that little. It's with travel right now, running all the way from Taiwan and from Japan. Go ahead. You're right. We have
toys.
I'm going to skip a bit on this. Just want to go to the main parts of talking money.
Arguably too deep on August 20th. So that is joining the ship kit. He's in the ship. And then.
Okay.
Right? I use AI to tell me how to use AI, to tell me how to use AI. And one of the things I've been doing myself for the last 6 to 9 months is doing a little bit of vibe coding. I'm not a developer by trade, even though I did some like web dev stuff back in the day. And as an AI maximalist, one of the first things I did was use AI to ideate, or use AI to come up with ideas for my app. Like Charlie mentioned, it's like it's a recurring ask at events. You see it happen in the Discord. We've seen it happen online where people want to participate in Shipaton. They just don't have like an app idea ready. And then hopefully what we're going to do today, among some other things, is help you come up with some of those ideas. And to do so, we're going to bring on the machine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to share a bunch of prompts in the deck, and they are long, right? So don't try to screen grab them. This links directly to the deck. You can just copy and paste them. It's way easier, or just go to the short URL at the bottom of this. I'll share it again at the end. So first, AI for ideation. We're going to cover like 3 lenses, or three different ways of finding new ideas using AI. We're going to look at founder fit, which is finding whatever your unfair advantage is when building something, either because you have very specific skills, or you have access to things that other people don't have access to, you have domain expertise. And we're going to look at a multi-question intake where the AI will ask you questions and try to get an idea of what you know and what you're into, and use that to suggest ideas. We're going to do some pain mining, which is where
this a technical term? Like, is that a common term? It's horrifying.
We just keep saying it. At some point, it will be. We're going to do some pain mining where we pull user pains from reviews, which is the topic we'll dig into even more later on. But then we cluster that into themes, and then a theme gets converted into a small scale idea. And then lastly, we'll talk about remixing incumbents, which really means, building app for market or purpose. All right.
So before I start, one thing, let's go back to this slide that we have. So the founder fit found your unfair advantage with a multi-question intake. So what I won't say it's an unfair, I think it is an unfair advantage. If you have seen my app, like if I go back to my tweet, let's see if there's any. There's one tweet that I retweeted yesterday, was this one. This is the best UI I have seen thus far for habit tracking apps, tempted to say for all apps. So I'm like, thanks Big Smokes 3Z. But what I realized, look at this. It's a very pretty app, and if you everything on this page is vibe coded or vibe designed. I haven't I have never touched. Don't have subscription for Sketch. I did not touch Figma for this. What I did was just move around some SwiftUI code until it looked pretty. And this is what I did for this as well. I just said, okay, I need a graph, and create the graph, and it just created me a graph, or like a chart using Swift charts, and it added the gradient itself. I have not coded a single line on this uh, the chart. It's not that I'm proud of it, but I am okay with it. And the only thing I did was the average BPM, max BPM. It was truncating a bit, so I added a frame to it. The limit, like the size version, where you have to have the horizontal true or vertical false or something. And then for the heart, it's like the heartbeats on this graph based on the average BPM, which I found something cool. So if the average BPM is more, it would beat faster. So this is a thing that I added on my own, but the whole screen itself is vibe coded. Like literally, if you can vibe code something related to fitness tracking of it, like workout tracking, you would see the exact same symbols that Sonnet 4 would use, and it actually shows. So I have vibe coded this view, but I just added even I just added a top gradient view. The code is open sourced on my Twitter. You would find some, if you just search for struct, you would find it on my Twitter somewhere. And it is very pretty, especially with the UI, the liquid glass. Like, it looks so nice when it scrolls up in liquid glass, and this is what I wanted. And even though Apple says that you should not have glass on top of glass, it looks pretty to me, and that's what I want. And I feel because now I have this foundation of code base, I can literally use this idea every single uh, place. Like in any app that I'm working on, I can take the exact code that I have, which is I should now create a private Git package for myself, so I can use that. But the idea remains that I have this unfair advantage when it comes to design. A lot of the people out there are using vibe coding the design, and it looks vibe coded. I literally tell that okay, the app was vibe coded, and my advantage is that I am still vibe coding, but I will just shove this package of my own, which has all the code as context, and now I using the same model as other people, I can create pretty apps. So even if the two apps are exactly vibe coded, my unfair advantage is that one of them is pretty, which I think sells. Visuals really sells. That's the fundamental of human beings. If you can see a lot of the visuals, especially related to the hashtag Shipaton, you will see, you can observe that a lot of the posts on tweets will do better if there are more videos attached that shows better stuff versus just images or something. They just perform better, even if it's the algorithm that is pushing them out. I know that it does, but like from my experience, it's not that I know the algorithm, it's just from my experience and observation. But having videos is better than photos, and having photos is better than nothing. So that I feel is my unfair advantage. And remix incubant, so this is a very cool thing. It's like with a local twist. So what I did was, my friend was going through a breakup, and then I was telling him, okay, like things shouldn't go like this, is you will come out strong. I'm like, I can just create an app for this, right? Have him have a widget on its screen that says it uses AI with a custom system prompt. And I actually did that app called as Unchain. It's like I did that in 6 hours, and it is actually ranking like 3 for the word no contact. And that is actually a good popularity word. And even though I'm not getting any, I just added RevenueCat yesterday on the app. It's not for Shipaton because I shipped it a week before Shipaton. But that app was actually incubant, is like for specific geo. So there's this app called as Quitter, which is for quitting corn. I found it on Twitter, and I really liked how the app is printing. It's printing money. I think it's 500,000 MRR, if I'm not wrong, or something like that. So my idea was kind of Quitter, but for letting go of your ex or something. So was my twist. And then I did the competitor analysis. The first app right now that is in like ranking for the word no contact, when I use that shortcut to approximate the revenue, they are doing 10k MRR, and it's a perfect hard wall. They are literally charging $10 a month. I'm like, I can cut them off on $5, use the same idea of creating a pretty app. Their app is not. And they just want you to analyze. They are not there for you as such for an app. Like, I would assume the boarding would want to ask you questions to make you feel better or something, but they just want to take data of you until they show you the paywall, and that's how they're making money from gullible people, if that's, I have to just put it bluntly. So that was my idea, and the purpose, you know a lot about, I won't say I know a lot about it, but at least I have a very good I'm sorry to make my friend a scapegoat, but at least I have a friend who right now is dealing with it, so he's like the perfect customer for my app. And if he gets over her using my app, I would like call it a win. Anyway, let's
We
continue
talk
the
about
video.
remixing
Yeah.
incumbents, which really means, building app for market or purpose. All right, we'll start with Find a Fit, and this is why I told you to scan the QR code. I'll share it again at the end. It's very, very, very long. So what we're doing here is we're telling the AI to run an adaptive interview, which means it's an interview that changes based on the answers I'm giving. Right? So we don't actually tell it, ask me these 10 questions. We tell it, conduct an interview with the purpose of finding out a couple of things. And I'll skip ahead one slide real quick, because this is what we're trying to have it discover. Yeah, so don't try to, I'm actually reading the comments, I probably shouldn't. Don't try to read it. There's a QR code at the start. I'll share it again at the end. There's no, you just copy paste, right? Because the purpose of the interview is filling these 7 buckets of understanding, where the understanding in this case is the AI's understanding. You want the AI, after the interview, to understand what is your unique experience or domain knowledge. You want it to understand whatever interests or hobbies you have that you actually invest real time in. It needs to know what audience or community you have access to already. It needs to know what data or content sources you could legally use that maybe somebody else doesn't have access to, regions or languages you can serve natively, whatever motivates you and what will keep you shipping, and whatever no-go topics or constraints you have, so things it should be avoiding. And when it fills those buckets, it is going to synthesize that new knowledge it has about you specifically, and create a portfolio of app ideas. And it's actually going to rank them by found and fit, right? So how suitable are these ideas for me specifically? And then ideally, it's something that you're the best person in the world to build. All kinds of details, doesn't really matter. You can also just tell it what you know and care about, and ask it to generate app ideas based on that insight. Will take you less time theoretically, but I actually did run one of these interviews before this.
Oh, nice. So Rick here uses Fitbot, one of the app that I was going through, and I don't like the UI. So he mentions that he finds the equipment config annoying. It's a pain to set that up when I travel, and I travel a lot. I used Rana for a bit for running. Rana is a very pretty app in terms of the simplicity that it provides. I tried and run a few times, but found that overly complex for my purpose. I just want to train, rest, work. Rana gets very into training you for a marathon. I would also like apps to better guide me in becoming stronger. I don't really care about the aesthetics. Oops. You should have a aesthetic app for workout. So Fitbot, health app, and auto sleep for sleep tracking. Somehow it doesn't feel like, unless auto tells me. Auto sleep is one of the apps that charts really well, but I hate its UI so much. There was a time I was using it when I had the Apple Watch, but it does not sync to Garmin, and I really am okay with what I have. So if I go and open the Garmin app, even Garmin app, I don't like it, but it's what it is. Like, if we can I don't think that's visible. Oh, it's still loading. And this is a very simple Garmin app which gives the data, which is like a 68 score on 100 because I didn't sleep. I slept at 10 but woke up at 4. And yeah, that's, and if I go and compare it to my app, I see the sleep, which is like a bit prettier, but then I am very biased. Yeah. So yeah, let's continue. I get
This
distracted
live
so well.
stream a couple of hours ago took pretty much 15 minutes to complete, right? And the danger of you just like typing stuff out is you're gonna miss some things that might not be top of mind, right? Because you can actually see me doing this adaptive interview. I used ChatGPT 5 thinking mode for this, and for example, and this is already like, it's question 9, right? So it is, this took 15 minutes, but also you're looking for an app idea that'll make you $1 million, right? Investing 50 minutes in answering some questions is probably worth the investment. So this is question 9. I think I told it earlier that I spend some time in the gym every now and then, and it asked me, like, what are you already using? What is painful in the apps that you already use, right? It dug a little bit deeper on the training or health thing, where it asked, what apps and devices are you using? And then it ended, and I think it always ends with this, with the no-go areas, right? Where I'm like, well, it can't conflict with my work, but beyond that, just tell me something. And it produced 10 ideas. I'm not going to run through all of them, but we'll run through a couple. So Iron Trip is a strength planner that...
Before I start, Yash, if you're watching this, you know what you're going to tell me.
makes it easy to adjust to whatever equipment your hotel or gym actually has. And I work out a lot, and I travel a lot, and this is a very, very, very big frustration for me. I use Fitbot. Fitbot is an amazing app. Love it. Been using it for years. But whenever I go to a new place, configuring Fitbot to understand what equipment is available in that place is a huge pain in the butt. And it figured out that that's something I struggled with, and told me to build an app that solves for it.
Out of curiosity, how did it figure out that that was something you struggled with? Is that part of the, it's like mining, like what are you annoyed at with the apps that you're using? Is that where that came from?
Here, you can literally see when I told it. You can literally see when I told it, because it asked about, inside strength training, because I told it, like, I work out a lot. What are workflows or headaches you wish apps could solve better? And I literally told it, I use Fitbot, but the equipment config is annoying. It's a pain to set up when I travel, and I travel a lot. And if you read it like in isolation, it looks like I'm just telling it that this is an app I need, but it interviewed me up to the point.
This is just one of a whole bunch of questions.
Where it asked me a question where this was the answer I gave, right? At the start of this, I wouldn't have said, I'm going to build a workout app specifically for travel.
Yeah.
So, and it gave me a name, and it told me some stuff about like the marketing part of it. Idea number 3, again, there are 10, I picked out a couple. Stronger at 44. I'm 44. I think this is probably a little too niche, but like stronger after your 40s or something is actually pretty interesting.
I'm 27, so can't relate.
Having gone to the gym for like over 2 decades now, it's different,
Damn.
right? It's not like working out in your 40s is not the same. So building something very specifically for that, and it even found me like communities to
Subreddits.
tap into if I start building something like this. Um, that's interesting, right? And it actually suggests to connect it to sleep, which is one of the things that I didn't tell it, but I've actually experienced over the decades, where before I could party all night and then in the morning go to the gym and I'd be fine.
Oh, and it's so funny because I'm at going to turn 28, and I think I started doing this. I started drinking. I don't know when I was 23. Yeah, I think like the first WWDC is when I had my first drink, and then I started drinking heavily when I was 26. And I could actually do that. I would just go drink a lot and then just wake up in the morning like nothing happened. But day before night, I had 3 Long Island iced tea, and I was messed up yesterday morning. And even today morning, the one of the reasons that I couldn't sleep well is because my resting heart rate was over 60 or 63 actually. And that's a shame because I was targeting my resting heart rate to be around 51, 53, and but it just messes up everything. Like all you need is just like even a few sips at this point at this age, which shouldn't happen, is would get me. Once it wouldn't get me a hangover. Like I wasn't in a hangover state, but it did mess my whole schedule. Not for like the next day, but for the day afterwards as well. And if I'm at this thing at 28, I don't know what will happen if I'm doing the same when I'm in my 40s. So yeah.
That's no longer the case.
And quick, just interjection here. Question from Franklin. He asked what LLM you're using, like Gemini, GPT-4, Claude.
He mentioned
Did you test
GPT-5.
this process with different LLMs? If so, what were
Mhm.
the results? I think you said it was GPT-5, but have you tried other LLMs?
Yeah, the exact same prompt will also work on Perplexity. We'll touch on like GPT, Perplexity, Manus throughout this thing. I didn't test this particular process with Manus. I'm pretty sure it would be relatively similar. I think the thing that I found when I use a bunch of these different tools is that I really appreciate GPT's ability to connect the dots, more so than doing the research part, right? And we'll go into
GPT-5 is
that
an
a little bit
amazing
later,
model.
but when I'm mining for reviews and that kind of thing, it's like, you know, hard work, like volume, a lot of search, a lot of research. I tend to prefer Manus or Perplexity, but just connect the dots between things, GPT.
Sweet.
And I also found Walk the Beast. It's actually one of the questions, and I think it might actually be on the top. Let me check right there. Yes. So this is actually a very good, the opening question here. It always opens with this question, and after that, it kind of goes down, right? Give me a 60-second week in the life. What do you actually spend time on? Really, really brief, right? Like it's 3 or 4 sentences. And I think off the top of my head, what I told it is like, I work, I spend time with my kids. I have a lot of kids, right? I have 5 kids, so it knows that it's answered. I go to the gym. I walk my ridiculously big dog a lot because otherwise it eats up the house, right? And then I do a lot of reading. Those are the things that I told it in that first prompt, and it actually uses that to kind of figure out the rest of the week. So I told it about the dog, and then it told me to do like to build a big dog route planner. Because like walking a big dog is different than walking a small dog. They need like different things. So like having a big dog walking app to find my routes, log whatever happens along the way, that might be an interesting thing for me to build. Then moving on, we just find out that Rick's need to be muscled up is to carry his exhausted big dog back from too long a walk because the app got a little enthusiastic about the route. Yes. Actually, because I don't think it's exhausted, it just gets lazy. Because I run with the dog,
Mm-hmm.
and then I know it can do more, and it just lie down, right? It'll just lie down flat on the street, and then I actually do have to pick it up. Moving on, pain mining. So regardless of how sticky pain mining is as a term, the practice itself is pretty useful. So what we're doing is we're using AI to find popular apps and then find user feedback on those popular apps and mine that for variants on those apps or pain points that users that use those apps experience but aren't being addressed.
I feel like I don't have the system audio on, so whatever I'm hearing is something that you guys, you folks, are not able to hear. Because if I have the system audio on, then it will conflict with my mic, and yeah, that's why I have the subtitle on. I wish there's a better way to make this bigger or something, like just put it here. Anyway, so the idea is that pain mining prompt is to just understand the user feedback on the popular apps and then do what they don't want from that app, and then just turn into an app idea or app feature itself.
Again, I'm going to go through all of it. This is a relatively simple one, right?
Mhm.
We literally just configure it with whatever category or type of app we're looking to build, right? So this can be pretty broad. We tell it whatever market we're looking at, and then it'll just literally start gathering up reviews, and we'll try and find pain themes.
Yeah. I want to understand
And
how we are getting the
for
reviews from.
reasons that might have become clear in the previous exercise, I asked it to look for like strength training apps or like fitness trackers. I spent a lot of time with those. I ran this in Perplexity.
Yeah, it's funny because this app called Jeffit app, a gym workout tracker. So if I open Astro, this Jeffit gym tracker, I am actually ranking for it somewhere. So if I show you the rankings, okay, okay, this is some Jeff Nippard. I don't know who is, but I don't know why I'm ranking 51 for it. And even the app macro factor is ranking for this. Somebody also makes mistake macro factor with a K. Nice.
This took a little bit of time,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it took a little bit of time because it's going through App Store pages, it's going through Google Play pages, it's finding reviews, it's gathering all of those up, and then it's like indexing topics.
3 years of data gone. I'm not able to access my
It
data.
found user sentiment, right? These are just some of the reviews it found. You can see in the prompt that I asked it to also produce a CSV with the reviews it included, so that you can actually check if it's not making stuff up. I told it not to make stuff up, right? But that's not always super effective. So you have the ability to validate. So I found quite a few reviews, and one of the very common themes, and this was a little surprising, so I checked, and it checks out. A lot of people complain about data reliability.
And this is one thing that I did differently in Zenther, because I do not have my own database, which is an advantage and a big disadvantage as well. Because if you use apps like MyFitnessPal, if you do not give it access to your health data, it would not store in health, but it will maintain its own database. So that reliability crisis is kind of gone for me, unless people actually somehow remove their apps, like the health app itself, so all the data is gone as well. So if Like somebody recently mentioned that they were using this app called as Food Norms to log the data, and then it would also show on my app because it is logged by Food Norms, but it would show with with Food Norms because I'm using the sync identifier. And it even for workouts, if I'm using the Apple Watch to log a workout or even Strava, it will show up in my app as well because I'm using directly fetching all the data from HealthKit.
Like users losing a ton of workout history. And
That
again,
would
being one
suck.
of these people, I've used Fitbod for like 4 years now. If
Wow.
my entire Fitbod history would be gone, I would be very upset. And yeah, you can see it here, right? I've used this app for a long time, love the tracking and format. For some reason, I was logged out, session expired, had to reset. When I logged back, everything was gone. There are hundreds, just in the sample that Perplexity ran, hundreds of reviews complaining about this thing, right? So data reliability, huge issue, huge issue. Workflow friction.
Cumbersome
So people
logging during.
complaining that logging is actually
Yash is
difficult
going
or
to love
much.
this line.
Updates make the app worse. Free versions are too restrictive. The
You
app's
have to
lag
make
or
some money.
crash. The rest timer
Wow.
just works weirdly or strangely, and people complain about things being too expensive.
The apps that I have seen, they are actually charging like $30 $40 a month because the idea is that they will actually replace a fitness coach with, I guess, cost thousands of dollars. But still, some apps are out there like charging hundreds of dollars an hour a year.
I asked it to pick one, right? So it actually stack
Just
ranked
create a better, reliable
the things that
workout
I would
tracker.
build. The thing it suggested I build is a data reliability first workout tracker, where we have like bulletproof local storage, do like cloud-based backups, make sure that the logging is intuitive, freemium pricing is transparent, sure. Honestly, like as a recovering app growth person myself, this might even be like a premium app where I price it a little higher than I would price other things.
As a way to like signal that this is legit and more trustworthy.
Yeah, and remember, like 28% of negative reviews for these apps were about data reliability. It's looked at massive strength training at fitness apps. So just the people that have experienced this firsthand
How do you
is
target
a
those people?
sizable audience. And if I have 4 years of workout history, and you tell me that I pay you a little more, but it is impossible that this will happen to me again, I will gladly pay that.
That makes sense.
That's so interesting because as me coming at things from the opposite angle, I'm an engineer first that kind of started doing the app and business side of things. I feel like something I had to like unlearn was marketing things based on technology. Like talking about things being solid infrastructure or whatever, it might sound like a big deal to me, but most customers don't care. But here you've sort of realized that, at least in this specific niche, there is a way that you could be marketing that exact thing. The trick is you have to make sure that in all of your marketing, you're finding
You really
that
have to
audience
be
is
very
really
legit when you say
interesting.
that you would not get rid of the
Yeah,
data
I
and
mean,
not use the data or anything like that. Make sure
with this
that you use it
prompt
very
and
well.
agree with all of them, I would take it as a kicking off point, right?
Yeah, good point.
This was relatively broad. I can actually combine some of the output of the previous prompt and this prompt to say, hey, I've now discovered that I'm uniquely qualified to build an app for dog walking. So now, find the biggest dog walking apps and keep the rest of it intact. Go and mine the reviews for those dog walking apps and figure out what functionality it's missing. And then I'm uniquely qualified to build it, right? Because we did the first prompt, and there's an unmet customer pain, which we've learned from the second prompt.
And Andy Dent just asked, and I'm curious about this too. Have you found Perplexity dramatically better for the pain or joy mining, the app stores, because of its web access, versus like ChatGPT or some of the other ones?
Versus ChatGPT, yes. Versus like something like Manus, which we'll use a little bit. I'm a little bit of a Manus fan. I use ChatGPT. Well, I have a T-shirt here somewhere.
I haven't used
ChatGPT for a lot of,
Manus
like, the day-to-day
at all.
stuff, but when it's like
But I think they are one of the
mining for
sponsors.
information, and
Perplexities as well.
especially mining for information and turning that into like a digestible report, or then Manus is amazing. We'll look at
that. Seems to be one of its expertise is turning that information into something digestible in a different way.
Yes.
Interesting.
So pain mining, and then lastly remixing an incumbent. So there's a prompt here, right? There's a prompt here where we're asking the AI to give us, variants on an incumbent for a specific niche that we could theoretically build. But actually, it's just the thing that works best here is app for wherever you live. And it's a famous plot point in the Silicon Valley HBO show.
I have
where,
not watched the show.
The
I
Chinese
have no
guy
idea.
that lives in the hacker house keeps building Chinese versions of big US apps. And the thing is, that works, right? If you
I don't
if
think
you do it well,
having
and
an
if you
Indian
pick your
version
markets
in
right,
Hindi
it
would work
works.
well.
And
as long as
But
where you live
I
isn't
can be completely wrong.
as long as where you live isn't the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And yeah, a good example, and this will be from
Oh wow, Kyle.ai, but for Japanese.
to and about these folks in Tokyo a few weeks ago. Kelsey is really just Kali I for Japan, right? And
Wow.
because people in Japan eat differently and have different requirements of app UX and UI.
I should download this app.
Localized version for a market
Galaxy.
like that just makes a ton of sense. So, works for a lot of markets, especially interesting. Japan, huge per user spend, and they care a lot about local nuance, right? The audience there cares a lot about local nuance. So you building a Japanese version of an app matters, right? They'll use that over a US version. South Korea, very similar, but very heavily skewed to Android. Interestingly enough, if you build for Android in South Korea, people will spend on those Android phones like they do on iOS devices elsewhere, right? So they monetize well. United Kingdom is interesting because it's like a high LTV mature market, but everybody just launches their US app in the UK and pretends the UK and the US are the same. They're not the same. Like culturally, they're not the same. So building an actual UK version of
what would be a UK version?
in some cases might make
Just use color as color with
large paying audience.
skip the U.
Build a privacy focused version
Okay, yeah.
of whatever works somewhere else.
I need to localize for
Saudi
German.
Arabia, high growth market. Like people are spending a lot more continuously. Like there's a lot of growth there. Again, local nuance, very, very important. India, huge audience, does require lean apps, localized content.
The planning should be
In
like the
India,
pricing is
tiering
it's a
plans
very price sensitive.
And tiering is like low end, high end, right? because there's a lot of like range in how
Mm-hmm.
affluent people are, you want to make it possible
The
for people that can
disparity.
pay you a little to pay you a little, people that pay you can pay you a lot to pay you a lot.
India also
Media,
has unique subscription laws, right?
Yeah.
So subscriptions are sometimes it's better there to do like passes or something because I think there's rules where they can't even auto renew
Oh
people
yeah, he's
anyway. Like Apple
really
can't
good.
do
The
that,
like
right? So
regulations on
not
using the cards.
entirely.
I know there's a bunch of unique
There's
Yeah,
specific like
it's so just to give if you have listening and want to know some insights on the Indian subscriptions, so like whenever I'm even applying for a trial, I need to I don't have that money in App Store balance, I have to go and do this flow where I have to authorize, and then only so I have to authorize in a specific or the apps that supports UPI because UPI is one of the platforms that I use. So it's like a payment protocol. Is it a? I think it's an interface UPI, Unified Payment Interface UPI. So you have to authorize. So if I'm doing a trial of let's say $3, then it is in India it's 399 INR, and then I have to authorize even for a 3-day trial, and then authorize, go to the app, click that okay I'm authorizing it, and then come back to the app and then click again. So it's a lot of friction when it comes to subscriptions, and it's just not limited to subscriptions. It's for all of the. I'm not sure it's for all of the apps, but subscription do have this hurdle uh, where you have to go through this friction, and even when you're like subscribing to bigger apps, and if when you're working with Stripe, you have to make sure that you follow the RBI regulations. Otherwise, I always get my card that this merchant is not compliant, so your payment failed, and then that's a lot of churn for the like for us developers. But App Store kind of takes care of it, but you still have to make sure that you have to authorize it, so that's a level of friction that other countries do not have to face.
like revenue. But that's true for a lot of markets, right? It's also true for South
True.
Korea, for example,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
when you offer somebody a free trial, the moment the free trial converts to a paying one, even if you explicitly told them ahead of time, they need to opt in again. Right? Which means that
Oh wow, I
actually
didn't know about
there's
this
no such thing as
South
an
Korea
automatic
thing.
converting trial approval. Indonesia, massive audience, very, very young, actually to people like Mexico. If you want to go into LATAM, especially if you have something that works in the US, that's a good market to get started. And France is like Germany, but French. All right. Second part of the stream, we're gonna look at.
So I would stop this stream right now because it's almost 6 and I really want to go for a run because it's my last day in Bangkok and I really want to go for this run in this beautiful Lumpini Park. So as they said that it will be a second part, so what we will do in the second part of the stream, I will actually continue with the stream, but this idea was understanding on what the AI prompts were, and in the second part they are going to talk about, if I just forward it a bit, they will talk about my app actually. If it's stuck on loading or something, but yeah, if I can see you, if you have seen this lower, they are actually going to talk about my app. So I really want to spend the time on understanding what they think about my app and how what the AI or the bots think about my app. So this is what we will do in the second part of the stream, and then we will actually try to use the prompts. And I would try to use Grok 4 for these or Perplexity itself, because I have the Perplexity Pro thanks to my internet provider for free. So, with that, I hope you learned something new while watching this stream, and I'm really sorry if the audio wasn't available from the stream itself. And I wouldn't fix that. I would plan to yap a lot when they're talking about my app, and that would be like a whole hour or more than an hour of stream. So, the next one should be much more louder, or it won't be as quiet as this one. So, thank you and have a good day.